What is success to you? I'll wait. If you want me to be honest, only you know that feeling inside that you can't explain. It's quite complex, but yet so simple. But you will never know unless you clear your mental. Understand that life has ups and downs, twists and turns. You may fail along the journey, but never forget what you learned. But as I wait, I must say, what is success to you? Nah, better yet, understand it's your fate.
Just growing up, I was always looking for ways to be loved. And sometimes when I was looking for ways to be loved, I'd act out, and I would do something crazy or do something clownish or stupid, thinking that that'll give me love, and that wasn't always the void, or the wanting to be loved led to low self-esteem, led to me living a life of fear, and me not wanting to put any kids of my own out here. You know what I mean? And that's just different. Yeah, I got goals. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that I don't have goals. Now I don't want to be places, but it's just, saying I could be right here in 10 years. You know what I mean? I could be right here in 10 years. I could be right here in 5 years.
Man.
So it's just like, what am I doing on the day to day to get me to the next day? What am I doing in this very hour to get me to the next hour? It's a lot of things, and I think, like I'm a deep thinker, but that's just all due to surviving. All right, so once again, my name's Nick Webster, and I've been teaching for 4 years. It's actually my 4th year teaching. I'm head football coach, head soccer coach, teach history and weight training. And something that I've had to overcome, and a lot of people don't notice, when I talk and and the way I respond to different things, a lot of people like to call me arrogant or like cocky, or they say I have too much confidence. But what a lot of people don't know is, like, it took me 20 plus years to gain confidence or gain the courage to speak my piece, or try to speak my truth, or whatever. Because when I was a kid, I didn't have any confidence about myself. I didn't love myself. I didn't value whatever I did. I just would go with the flow, a little too often and a little too easily. And what that all stems from is just growing up the way I did, and not necessarily because I wasn't loved, or that my mom didn't love me. Just growing up with my with my circumstances. So I'm like a million other black kids in the United States. Like I said, I grew up in a one-parent household, a single-parent household, and for a long time, at least at least 5, a good 6 years of my life, and asked my mom, about my dad and how he was, and like who my father was, and things like that, and my mom would just give me sort of so answers, based off, and that was based off the fact she didn't want me to worry too much. But at the same time, after my mom would give me those so answers, I would just I would be alone, or I'd just be like thinking about it. I saw my mom. My mom had my older sisters. I got 3 older sisters, and then me, I'm the youngest. And I seen my mom, we went without, a lot, compared to some of the kids I went to school with, or some of the kids, that I grew up around. We went without a lot. And I saw my mom do a lot of stuff and make a lot of sacrifices, just to raise all 4 of us and make sure we were stable, and put us in the home that she did. I'm not saying it wasn't the best area, but at the end of the day, we came home and we had somewhere to lay our heads. And so back to the confidence piece, I'd always think about, who my dad was, and like why he would leave someone as strong as my mom, or someone as cool and as good as my mom, to be a mom, or a parent by herself, and that's one of the things that always just struck me. Even now, I'm 25 years old, and I just always, I can have good days, I can have bad days, but for a long time, I just been thinking about that, and I think about that almost every day. And a lot of people say, you know, it's forgiveness, it's forgiveness. Look where you are now. Look what you're doing now. And it's like, yeah, I get that. But at the end of the day, that's not the case. Because, you know, all 25 years of my life, like I've been missing sort of, that's a void. You know what I mean? And I don't feel like, even though I've, you know, had a little bit of success and whatnot, like I don't feel like, you know, my life is anywhere near complete, you know, without me, you know, trying to find, you know, those answers. So I guess what I'm getting to is, you know, I'd always ask myself, or I'd look in the mirror, or I'd see pictures of him, and I'd say, man, like why am I not loved? You know what I mean? Like why does only one of my parents love me, you know, as much as my mom loved me? And, you know, I just always felt that it was wrong, and I always had this deep hate for, you know, who my father was. And then when I'd see pictures of him, and people would say I look like him, or I'd be riding my bike down the street, and people would be like, oh, I know who your daddy is. I know who he is. I just seen him the other day. And it's like, well, shit, cool. That's cool, because I ain't seen him ever. You know what I mean? And so, you know, that made me start to hate the person I seen in the pictures. And then as I got older, I started to look like him. And then, you know, I started to hate myself a lot as well. And so with that self-hate, you know what I mean, that cancels out all the self-love I could have had when I was younger, or I should have had when I was younger, just because my mom poured so much love into me. And with that self-hate that I had, I didn't have like a lot of confidence. And so if I was around like a big group, you know, I'd be standoffish. I wouldn't say much. You know, I wouldn't try to engage, because I'd feel like, you know, the flaws that I had about myself, or the flaws that I saw in myself every day, they just pop right out to other folks. And you know what I mean? And they'd start talking about them, or they'd pick them out. And so my confidence level, you know, it had to grow. And as I got older, it grew a little bit. But, you know, the biggest thing I had to overcome was, you know, just wanting to be loved so much, you know what I mean, and not just by one person, you know what I mean. I used to want everybody to love me, and now I get to a point where, you know, I'm walking into work, and, you know, all the students are going, oh, Coach Webb, Coach Webb, Coach Webb, or I'm out in public and I see somebody, and, you know, and they know me, which is cool and whatnot. And, you know, people say, oh, everybody loves you, everybody loves you, every time they see you they go crazy, it's that. And you know, I have a hard time with accepting that love, because, you know, for a long time I felt like I didn't have that love, or I felt like no one was showing me that love to begin with. So you know, one of my big things is, once again, not being loved. And then as I start doing things, or I start making strides, you know, people starting to love me, and me having to accept that love that I felt like I never had. So that's, you know, that's something that I had to overcome. And once again, that stems from just, you know, me having one parent, and seeing one parent love me so heavily that I would just feel like, you know, since my other one isn't around, that they hate me. And I just, you know, I just yearned, or I just wanted love from two parents so much. And you know, when you don't get that, you know, that'll leave any kid wondering, because, you know, you go to school, you see kids with two parents, or even my cousins come over and they got both parents at their house. You know what I mean? It seemed to be, you know, sweet. And I always just wanted that complete family feeling. You know, I never was able to get that from my own, you know, type of my own bloodline. So that's one of the things that I had to overcome. And now that I have a little confidence about me, or I got a little swag about me, or, you know what I mean, I answer with confidence. People take it, they take it as arrogance, or they take it as cocky, or whatever, but they don't know what I had to go through in order to just gain the little bit of confidence that I carry with me. And so, yeah, that's a big thing. So, like I said, you know, just growing up, you know, I was always looking for ways to be loved. And sometimes when I was looking for ways to be loved, you know, I'd act out, and I would do something crazy, or do something clownish or stupid, thinking that would give me love, and that, you know, that wasn't always the case. And now that I'm older, I realize like I don't gotta do anything stupid and what made me realize that is, after like my first couple weeks teaching, the kids, every time I walk in the building, they just, they run up the stairs to my classroom, and these are teenagers, so like they run up the stairs to my classroom, or if they see me at the mall, they shout my name, or if they see me in like a Walmart, they stop me, and so, that gave me a little bit of confidence, what I mean. But once again, not saying that I don't, the love for my students or respect for my students and their parents isn't mutual, but the love that I really wanted, and that I've been wanting is, from the person that made me, and at this moment in my 25th year of life, like I don't know where that person is or where that person is at. I don't even know if that person thinks about me, and so with that, not having the love leading to, me being self-conscious and having low self-esteem, that all leads to me like living a life full of fear. People stress me, they ask me when I'm gonna have kids and whatnot, and all I can think about is like my pops leaving me there to like grow up and try to figure out life on my own. And so, like I said, I went without a lot of things that I felt like if I had two parents I could have had. I don't know much about, fixing up cars. I don't know much about handiwork in the house. I'm a real city boy. I know how to cut grass and I know how to check oil. Anything else, I'm not the man for it. So, but I felt like if I would have had, that void that I was missing, I could have learned some more things about, just being a man and whatnot. But also, I don't. People know me. I'm pretty. I'm standoffish when it comes to like super big crowds. In the heat of the moment, I'm the only person that I can trust. So heat of the moment, I'm not gonna be engaged in, he say she say or a bunch of rah rah. In the heat of the moment, I'm gonna be by myself, because I know at the end of the day, like I'm the one who has to protect myself. Because yeah, my mom poured a lot of love into me, and yeah, I'm a big mama's boy and whatnot. But at the same time, at the end of the day, and now since I live on my own now, and I wake up every day and I try to survive, I know that myself at the end of the day, that's all I have. And yeah, I got a loving family, I got a lot of people who support me and whatnot. But at the end of the day, when I'm alone, all I can think about is how I grew up, and that fuels everything that I do, from day to day, and like I said, I go to work. I'm in the trenches a lot. I call it the trenches because, all I was ever taught to do was survive. And no matter what type of job you have, you can be a firefighter, you can be a policeman, you can be a teacher, you can be a DJ, you can be a custodian, you can be whatever, you can be a taxi driver, But if you don't know how to survive, then you're not going to. You're not going to if you don't know how to. And so I say the trenches because, once again, I'm a history teacher. You think about World War II, that was trench warfare. Every day those soldiers woke up and, they said, okay, how am I going to survive today? So every day I wake up, 5 a.m., 6 a.m., I go through my daily duties, I work my ass off, and I guess I earn my money or whatever, but then, on my way home, when it's 6 p.m., when I get home and I lock the door and I can finally sit on the couch and relax, that's me, I survived the day. So I really take, life day by day, I'm not a super huge 10-year plan, I'm not a super huge 25-year plan type of person, and that's all based off the way I grew up. And what I was taught to survive. So if I can survive on a day-to-day, that's what I'm going to do. And I think that might have come from college, In college, because in high school I wasn't a super popular person. I wasn't, I had my friends, and I got that same group of friends. But at the same time, high school was just survival tactics. I had a little part-time job. I was playing sports and whatnot, and every day I was surviving. And then when I got to college, none of my friends were there. I had to make new friends, which I really didn't like because I'm really not on that. And everybody in college would tell you I don't party, I don't do I don't like to do none of that. I like to I like to go to class. I like to go get something to eat. I like to do my homework. And at 3 o'clock or at 1 o'clock, SpongeBob came on. So, you know, from 1 to 3 until it's time to go to practice, I'm watching SpongeBob and my homework is done. You know what I mean? And even on a Friday, like on a Friday night, I'm not at a party. I'm not out talking or mingling to nobody because, you know, I'm not going to let anybody in, because people that, even if people want to know me and people wanted to love me, that's still not the person that I'm going full circle with. You know what I mean? The person who I really wanted to love me was my dad, and I wanted my dad to be so proud of me because, you know, I was a boy and whatnot. But, you know, since he was absent, you know, I never really got anyone to fill that void. So a lot of people say, "Oh, your mom did so well," and she did. I'm not knocking my mom. You know, like I said, I love my mom, big mama's boy. I know my mom loved me. You know what I mean? Like I knew that. It never even crossed my mind that she didn't. But, you know, the person I wanted to be there to watch me grow up and to watch me, you know, reach different goals or, you know, possibly become successful was my pops, and I didn't have that. So, like I said, no matter how many people reach out and say they love me, or how many kids I mentor, or how many students, you know, love coming to my class every day, or love seeing me walk through the building doors every day, or anybody I see in public that I haven't seen in a long time shout my name, yeah, that's all love. But like accepting that love, you know, accepting that love in the moment is cool. You know what I mean? Embracing that love in the moment is cool. But at the end of the day, when I'm by myself, or when I'm going to sleep and I'm up late night thinking, you know what I mean, one void that I'll always have is like, why didn't my other parent love me as much as some of these other people do? So, yeah, that's it. I guess the advice that I would give is just, you know, keep going, you know, because at some point in your life, and it hasn't happened to me yet, the people who weren't there for you, or the people who, you know, didn't pour love into you like you poured into them, or people who didn't want to know you, they're going to need you one day. You know what I mean? Or they're going to be looking for you one day. The same love that they didn't give you, or the same hate that they gave you, you know what I mean? Someone's going to be giving them, or they're going to be looking for love from you. And the only advice that I can give you is, when that time comes, you know, when the clock strikes, you know, it's up to you to react the way you want to react, you know, and don't sacrifice your personality for it. But once again, you know, if you have a heavy void in your life, think about some of the different issues that void has caused. You can either let it continue to be a void, or, you know, you can choose another direction and go with it. So I guess I don't know if that's really advice, because I'm actually leaving it up to the person. That's more open-ended advice, because, you know, you can go right or you can go left. That's always the two directions that we got.
Damn, but I feel like we just said everything. Should I just give him the shirt now? All right, dude, man, that was, I can't put a word on it. Powerful. I continue to say that it's just amazing to hear these different stories, and whether I can relate to them or not, like, there's not only success within it, but it's amazing just to, again, just hear the different things that, again, how you said, like, people will judge you, people will say this about you, but like they don't know like what you're dealing with or what you have dealt with. And again, just to have the courage to discuss that, bro, like, I take my hat off. I'm bald, man, so whew, you know what I'm saying? I think this is the first episode I done took my hat off. I don't think they done seen my head, man. I'm a little jealous of bro when I met him. I had the waves, but
they was busting.
Man, but I'm gonna take my hat off for that one, bro. Like, that was amazing, man. So, I mean, is there anything else you would like to let them know?
No, man, I'm good, man. If you ever need me back, I'm right here, bro. So
thanks, man.
Just hit me up.
Man, before I let you go, I definitely gotta throw you a shirt here, man, for you pulling up, man. Yeah, I appreciate that. My man been tapping in.
Yeah, man. You know I bought the black one.
Oh yeah, facts, man.
I ain't got the white baby yet.
So I appreciate you pulling up and coming through, man. That's dope. And like I said, man, we're just gonna keep this thing going and Shoot, if that's it, bro, I appreciate it.
So,
Appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. Yes, sir. Boom.
Successful is a state of mind. Your story is not average. You got a story to tell. Let's tell it.